Hello, George. It's very nice to see you today.
Thank you, and good evening to you.
And it's kind of happy hour where I am, 4
Oh, it's
o'clock-ish,
always happy hour where I'm
where
at.
George is. Wherever
Yes,
Keo is, it's happy hour.
always,
Always,
always.
whether on the golf course or off. So
Exactly.
today we are going to talk about survival. And before we do that, as everyone knows, this is Bellis, Geo Bellis, business, bourbon, and blues. And often we go in a different order. So I'm hoping that you will share a little bit about bourbon before we hit on the business and the blues. What are you
Well,
thinking
I
today?
can't do I can't do the blues. I can't do the blues today because I don't have the background music. But I was planning on playing a little Muddy Waters in the background.
Ah,
Um, uh,
tell us
Chicago is
about that.
Chicago's known for the blues, but there's this place on the south side called the Checkerboard Lounge. And when the Rolling Stones came to town, they always stopped there and hung out with the blues singers. And the most popular guy there, Chicago-born native Muddy Waters. And I was going to be playing the background, Baby Please Don't Go, but it didn't work out right now because I don't have the stereo going.
Well,
And
we can add that. And
we'll add
tell
that
us
later.
about what you're drinking.
Uh, Today I'm drinking a Bradshaw bourbon, which is,
Terry Bradshaw, quarterback.
yes, this company bottles liquors with celebrities' names, and they did one with a Bradshaw bourbon. It's not bad.
Oh, it
It's
sounds
not
amazing.
great.
Wait a second. Cinnamon and vanilla and butterscotch, and it's a beautiful bottle. It's very
It's got a
unique.
nice color. It's not bad. It's not great, but for less than $40, it's pretty pedestrian. Actually, kind of disappointing, but for the name, you think one of the greatest quarterbacks in the world, the bourbon would be really outstanding, but it's not. He was a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he was a Hall of Famer. But anyway, it's celebrity bourbon. Somebody gave me the bottle. Thank God I'm almost done with it.
Yeah, then you can carry on back to heaven, right?
Mhm.
Angel's Envy. That's the bourbon I like as well.
But did you get my delivery? But we'll make sure you do.
No.
So, but today I want to talk a little business.
Mhm.
Um, I've encountered this a lot in the last couple of months. I think it's brought upon by the economy.
Yes.
People are just starting to scramble and trying to salvage things. But the one thing that I'm finding is there are a lot of partnership disputes, shareholder disputes, partnership disputes. During boom times, people just entered into agreements willy-nilly, not thinking about what they were doing. Many of them weren't. A lot of partnerships were never formalized. They started a company, started a corporation, 2 shareholders, 3 shareholders, 4 shareholders, but no formal agreement between them as to how business was going to be managed. But more importantly, no provision as to what is to happen if the business or the partnership breaks up. So if you have a corporation, you need a shareholders agreement. If you have a LLC, you need a operating agreement. If you're just a simple partnership, you still need a partnership agreement. You got to have something in writing. And you do that for a lot of reasons. It has buyout provisions, but from my perspective as a litigator, the most important thing it does is keeps you out of court. It forces a mediation between the parties before you go into court, and maybe even forces an arbitration to keep you out of court. In my mind, mediation and arbitration are a lot more economical than a trial and more expeditious, gets things done quicker. But every business needs to have some provision in it as to how to resolve disputes, whether it's pay, whether to hire more employees, business planning, or getting out. You have to have something formalized. It's like if you were getting married, you'd have a prenup. We'll consider this to be a prenup for businesses. And I'm encountering businesses that don't have one or did one from the seat of their pants or pulled out a form from the internet. I saw one for a company in Illinois that had a provision in there that it was governed by Alabama law. Now, why Alabama law? I don't know, but it didn't make any sense. So they had to resolve their dispute under Alabama law. No, makes no sense. But they picked up a form off the internet. They plugged in some names. They thought this will do it. It doesn't. It's worth the extra time and effort in the beginning to come to some agreement as to how the business is going to be managed. And that is my message for the day, Michelle.
Okay, can you stop sharing your screen so I can see your face a little better and the world can? That is tremendously valuable. Did you want to speak to other things as well, or can I ask some questions about this?
You could ask some questions, but I thought we were going to keep it short.
I knew you were going to say that. Of course, we can keep it short, and anyone who has questions can leave them in the comments section, and we will make sure they are answered, correct? And I'm sure you would be open to having a conversation with anyone that has some serious questions.
You made me stop sharing before I put in the most important screen.
Okay, let's put that screen in. There we go. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so while you can leave that up, and I'll ask you a couple of questions. Survival really, so the first question I have is, you said that you've had more of these concerns in the last couple of months, and you think that's because people are trying to get out of their businesses, or they're selling, or what do you think has spurred this on?
They're starting to question the relationship. They probably are not making as much money. They're looking to get out of it, and greed sets in, and they're just, and it could be any number of reasons. Just one of them wants to leave, it's time to move on. There are all kinds of reasons. Somebody dies. Yeah. So there are people get, why do people get divorced?
Well, that's another conversation, George. Not for today. That would be like a 3-hour conversation. But
3 hours.
I do think, yeah, or 1 minute, 3 minutes or 3 hours, I guess. But I do think that there is a bit more fear right now. I mean, people are thinking about money for sure, and businesses have to step back and reevaluate how they have positioned themselves. I think it's really interesting when you said they just pop a form off the internet and it was literally from another state. That is just sloppy setup that is probably, do you find that to be pretty common? That people
Yes.
try to do it themselves?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a question of cost cutting. In the beginning, nobody wants to spend money on lawyers. I get it.
Yes.
But there's a question of practicality and efficiency. You don't spend money where you don't have to. But if you don't take care of things in the beginning and establish a good, strong relationship with a lawyer, that somebody you can trust, I guarantee you're going to be spending a lot more money later on, because litigation is a lot more expensive than putting the money into the agreement up front.
Absolutely true. Well, if you'd like to stop sharing your screen and so you can say cheers, I think we could at least say cheers to our cheers. That means you only get through half a glass of bourbon if we're gonna have really short meetings like this.
A full glass of bourbon would not be a good thing.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think
A
this
fraction of a glass is,
a fraction of a glass. Yeah, so you can stay on your game. Something tells me you can hold several of those and still give very, very good
oh
advice.
no, I'm a short hitter.
Okay, well, next time we will find a way to have the music on here. So tell me, what can you want to talk a little bit about Muddy Waters, or do you want to sign off?
I think we're done. Muddy Waters is very good.
All right.
The coolest video
Yeah.
is on YouTube, where the Rolling Stone came into the story goes that Keith Richards back in Liverpool got a hold of an album of Muddy Waters and became absolutely enthralled with the beat, the Chicago blues beat. And they started adapting that beat into their music, and because it really kind of mimics a heartbeat, and so they started adapting it. And when they came to Chicago, they made it a point to go to the Checkerboard, and they ended up jamming with Muddy Waters. And there's a great video where Muddy Waters invites Mick Jagger up to the stage, and then the rest of the Stones come up on the stage, and they all jam together, and it's just fabulous. And it's unique. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, back in my youth, in the early '70s, I did visit the Checkerboard Lounge, and it was a very unique place. Very unique.
That's a great story. Well, we'll have to find that and pull it up, and we'll share it with everyone too. Okay?
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much for today. And we'll be back again next week with business, ballads, bourbon, blues, not necessarily in that order.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, George. Have a great night. Bye.
Ciao, Bella. Ciao, Bella. We'll add that as a new beat.
Ciao.
Bella.
Plenty of great bees. Just nix the Birkenstock. That's such an older thing. There's another bee. Now I'll be thinking of bees all night.
Baby.
Baby. All right. Good night, George. Thank you.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao.